this season, we have been having issues, controversies. We discussed that even now in our last program, and also in this last match between Manchester City and Arsenal. Before we talk about the build up to that match and everything, I want us to talk about the officiating. There were instances where people were calling for red card for Kovacic for his foul on Rice and Odegaard. Do you see that as red card? And going forward, do you see things changing as regards the officiating in APL?
The reality is, if you look at the incidents that look like what happened, and the end result of those incidents were red card. From Chelsea, this guy, what's his name? Malo Gusto.
Okay.
Liverpool. What's the name of this guy?
Pascal Gross.
Okay.
Or the
guy that was
giving red card.
Tottenham.
Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones and Diogo
Jota. The tackle of Diogo Jota and Malo Gusto was exactly the same tackle that Kovacic gave to Declan Rice. Now, I understand the fact that the referee wants to
maintain
the crisis within the officiating. You understand? They were writing apology letters. That day, I was telling the guy that we were watching the game together that I think this referee, they want to avoid another apology letter. That was why there are some things. Even apart from that game, there was another game that a player, Newcastle versus West Ham, Bruno Guimaraes, supposed to even red card, but they were lenient just because they don't want to make a decision. At the end of the day, after checking, they need to write another apology letter. So I think even the officials, they've been seeing these things and they've not been fine with it. That was why, to me, I feel that was why the guy was trying to be lenient a little bit with Matteo Kovacic.
All right. So let me go to you, sir. Now, we've talked about that kind of tackle, and we are trying, the EPL officiating, they are trying to curb instances where they will be writing apology letters. But going by what happened to Liverpool against Tottenham, and looking at what happened between Liverpool and Brighton, where the Brighton players were calling for handball in the. Do you see that as a repay for what happened to Liverpool in the previous week?
I think in that last match Liverpool played against Brighton, there was a lot of controversy. Even not only the foul, the handball that Van Dijk
went on. Yes.
So, and even if we look at that penalty that was given to Liverpool, the foul on Dominic Szoboszlai that Pascal Gross did, it should have been red card, considering that any player that is on goal, just like the decision they took against Van Dijk when he fouled this Newcastle guy, Alexander Isak, when he was on goal. So they say that any player that faces
the net or the opposition box,
yes, and it was maybe it was obstructed or was brought down, that the person that commit that foul must be. Let
me ask: was Gross the last man?
No, looking at the way Szoboszlai was going, because Szoboszlai was about beating that goalkeeper, and he
so there was an obstruction to go. Yes, I understand. Yes.
He pulled his shirt, and after that match, with what after that match, the post-match interview that they usually do, I think there was a comment on that the guy should have been given a red card for that. Consider it was even Van Dijk that even made that statement that what happened that day
was similar to what he did.
Yes, what he did then. And looking at the foul that Van Dijk also did in that match, I think that
should have been treated the same way.
It should have been a penalty. But in fact, immediately that foul happened, the first thing that firstly came to my mind was that they are trying to maybe to compensate Liverpool for what happened in the previous match. So that was it.
I think what one of the major issues we are having in the EPL is issue of consistency in their decision making. What happened this week might not be the same way they treat the issue now, may not be the same way they will treat it next week.